everyone, and welcome to today's video. So a question I've been asked quite a few times on Instagram, particularly when I've posted a clip like the one at the start of this video, is how do I get started playing country guitar, and particularly if a player is coming from either a blues or a rock type background. So I thought I'd film a video on how to kind of get started with it, and that's either if you're looking to go full-blown kind of country, similar to the kind of traditional country piece I played at the start with the 12 bar, or if it's more that you've got a set of licks that are either kind of rock or blues based and you just want to add a bit of a country flavour to them. So the way that I want to break it down, basically we're going to talk about tones that we'd use in country, techniques, and then also kind of note choice or scales, and then finally I want to show a bluesy kind of rock lead idea and how we might then use the things we've looked at to make that idea more of a country type lead idea. So in terms of tone, I would say the guitar that's the most synonymous with the genre is probably the Telecaster. This is if we're going for a traditional kind of country sound. Really you can use whatever you want, but if we're trying to nail that traditional country tone, generally it's the Telecaster or something with a single coil in the bridge that we're after. Now as far as amp tones go, I'll bring up an overlay on the screen so we can see what I've got dialed in, but it's generally a fairly clean to kind of low gain sound. We want to get as much clarity out of the amp as we can, so we're probably going to push the trebles and mids quite a bit and maybe back down the bass. So in terms of effects, probably the two main pedals I would recommend if the amp's giving us our kind of core tone would be a compressor and a delay. So the compressor I'm using here is the MXR Dynacomp, and then the delay is the Seymour Duncan Darkson, and I've got this dialed in on a slapback setting, so that's just one really kind of short repeat. So just to demonstrate that with the Darkson bypassed, and then if I kick the pedal on. So with the compression and the delay, it's just a way of kind of thickening the sound whilst retaining the clarity to deliver those lead lines. So now that we've got our tone dialed in, I think one of the core techniques behind country guitar playing, or certainly the lead aspect, is the hybrid picking approach. So this is the combination of using the pick and then our middle and ring finger on the right hand. And I think this is a really kind of useful technique whether we're playing country music or any other genre. It's got so many different applications. We can use it for choral playing, we can use it in lead work, or if we're looking for something a little bit more modern, we can use it for something like legato playing, for example. So it's a really kind of versatile technique. So if you've not tried hybrid picking before, a good exercise to get it under your fingers is if you were to mute the left hand strings, or sorry, mute the strings of our left hand, and we're just going to pick the G. These are all open strings, so just pick the G with the pick, middle finger on the B, ring finger on the high E, and just run through that pattern. And it's not the most exciting thing, but if you were to do that in front of the TV for an hour, hopefully that should feel much more kind of subconscious by the end of the program you're watching. So another technique that I think is really useful in making blues or rock type lead lines sound more country is the muting with the left hand. So quite often in blues or rock we'll hold sustained notes and we'll apply vibrato, whereas country is a very percussive orientated lead sound. So maybe instead of, we do something like that kind of thing, and I'll demonstrate that in a more musical context in a second. But the way we achieve that, as soon as we played the note, we lift the pressure off with our left hand, so we're still touching the string but we're just not pressing it down anymore, so it cuts the note really short. And so instead of sounding like, we can get that kind of clucked sound. Again, I'll show a couple more examples. That'd be more bluesy, and that's more kind of country approach to that. So in terms of note choice, a lot of the time we're going to be playing either major or minor pentatonics or the blues scale. So in the same way that our blues note adds a kind of bluesy flavour to the pentatonic counterpart, in country if we were to fluctuate between the minor and major third of the key that we're in. So in this example, if we're in the key of A, so I've got a root note at fret 10 on my B string, or A note. If I take the C and C sharps, that's my minor and major thirds, that's fret 8 and 9 on the E string. If I fluctuate between those two with the root note, it's going to give us that kind of country ring to things. So at the start of the video I mentioned I wanted to have a look at how we could take a pre-existing kind of blues or rock lick and reinterpret it in a more country kind of way. And the lick I've chosen as an example is this kind of thing. So basically what I'm doing there, I'm in the key of A and I'm sliding into my root note, and then I've got C, D, E, or 8, 10, 12 on the E string. And basically coming back on myself to land on the root note. Play it one more time. I'm going to put tabs to both the blues and the country version on my Facebook music page. So if you do want the tabs to kind of follow along with this, you can find them on there. And the country reinterpretation of this that I had in mind was, so it's using quite a few of the techniques we talked about. And to start off with, basically every other note I'm going to pedal back to my root note on that fret 10 of the B string. So to start off with, I'm going 10 on the B, so that's my root note. Then I'm using my ring finger to grab the 10 underneath it on the E string, sorry. So that's my root to perfect fourth there. Then I'm going to do the major minor fluctuation that we talked about before, so that's fret 8 and 9 on the high E. So again, grabbing that with my ring finger, so I've got pick and ring for these. And then this time I'm going to pick the root note again and slide my fret 10 up to fret 12. So that's my perfect fourth to perfect fifth, so that's... and then to finish off, I'm going to go back to my root note, and then I'm going to bend that minor third up to the major third. So that gives us, and then one more time slow. So that's just one way we can reinterpret that particular blues line. Again, there are tabs available on my Facebook music page if you did want them to follow along with that portion of the video. That was an introduction into country guitar playing, and as I mentioned at the top of the video, that can either be if you're looking to make it a full kind of genre immersion and go full on traditional country with it, or if you just want to kind of reinterpret some of the pre-existing blues kind of rock lines you already have. So just before we finish up, I just wanted to mention a few players it would be worth checking out if this is a new genre to you. Brad Paisley, I think, is probably the poster boy for modern country guitar playing, and his album Play is a kind of instrumental. It's country, but it's not all kind of really hard-hitting country, so if you've been put off in the past before by maybe the more kind of traditional 12-bar side of things, there's some really kind of interpretive arrangements there. There's some rock stuff, there's some kind of surf rock stuff. It's a really great album, really worth checking out. Also, if you're coming from a heavier kind of background, John Five is a really great example of, or John Five's playing I should say, he's a really great player, and his playing's a really great example of how you can combine country lead playing and like metal lead playing. In his guitar work for Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, and he also does his own stuff. He's worth checking out, definitely. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section, or you can send me a message at James Franklin Guitar on Instagram. As always, a big thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.